It's great to see participants joining the meeting before time, madam.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. As soon as Priya madam is keeping the link, it's almost full before time itself. As you have rightly stated.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma'am.
I'm very much happy to be part of this FDB, ma'am. We are eagerly waiting for the 6:30 time so that we can get the best from this FDP, ma'am. So we are logging before itself. The other two sessions are amazing, and we got lot of inputs from the first day and second day. So glad to be part of this FDP, ma'am.
That's great, ma'am.
We appreciate that, Ms. Sarah Grace.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The FDP hasn't started and the Zoom room is completely full, madam. We cannot accommodate any more participants.
Yes.
Good evening,
Just
Cassie
keep the
ma'am.
message just like every day as you are keeping it to join them in YouTube.
Good evening, Cassie ma'am. I'm Dr. Shashidhar.
Keep the message in the FTP group.
मम्मा आपका मिडिल नेम नहीं है ना कोई और डैडी का
I request all the participants to stay
Cassie ma'am,
muted.
good evening.
I request all the participants
Good
to
evening,
stay muted.
sir.
Please mute
I'm Dr.
yourselves.
Shashidhar ma'am.
हाँ नीचे करो यू शर्मा हाँ सही है हम्म 40110 ठीक है हाँ सही है
Good evening, everyone.
ठीक है आए
Before I start, please, once again, I request all the participants to mute themselves. Today's resource person, Dr. Cassiana Walter. All the participants who are eagerly waiting for the third day's session of the FDP, with the title Reimagining English Language Teaching, Digital Innovation, AI, and Future-Ready Practices, being hosted by the Department of English, Humanities and Sciences, VJIT, Vidyajyoti Institute of Technology, all the participants, colleagues, HOD of the Department of English, Dr. Priyadarshini Madam. Good evening, everyone, and welcome you all to the 5-day faculty development program, Reimagining English Language Teaching, Digital Innovation, AI, and Future-Ready Practices. The previous 2 days sessions have been so informative, engaging, interactive, and knowledgeable, and we hope today's session will also add a lot of value to your learning process, to all of our learning process, in fact. It's a great privilege bestowed on me to introduce today's resource person to all of you, Dr. Cassiana Walter, Associate Professor, CMR College of Engineering and Technology. Dr. Cassiana Walter is an educator and researcher. She has specialized in English language teaching and is passionate about student-centered learning. Her tagline is creating engaging learning experiences through innovation and interaction. She has done her PhD from Osmania University, and her areas of expertise are English language teaching, disability studies, student engagement, interactive teaching strategies, communication skills development, and inclusive education. She has, to her credit, many research publications and Scopus publications, as well as indexed articles, which she has published in renowned journals. She has published many articles on ELT and soft skills in UGC CARE journals, as well as peer-reviewed journals. She has attended many conferences and has had, to her credit, many conference publications, both national as well as international. Her professional contributions include promoting interactive and learner-friendly classrooms, encouraging active student participation. She also believes in simplifying complex concepts through innovative teaching. She fosters positive and inclusive learning environments, and she is dedicated to students' success and academic growth. The topic that she is going to brief today is based on the contemporary trends in English language teaching. We are all very much familiarized with the trends that have changed phenomenally post-COVID. So this topic that Dr. Cassiana Walter is going to take today, with a vision to create inclusive, engaging, and learner-centered classrooms that inspire confidence and lifelong learning, to empower students through innovative English language teaching and meaningful educational experiences, is going to be a fruitful session, I hope. And I request Dr. Cassiana Walter to take the stage and start with her presentation. Ma'am, welcome once again to this session. And I once again, before giving the platform to Dr. Cassiana Walter, request all the participants to mute themselves and maintain the decorum as they have been doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for that warm introduction. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. So thank you, everyone, and good evening. Good evening to the esteemed principal, to the deans, to the HOD of Humanity and Sciences, to the HOD of English, and the whole team who have collaborated for this wonderful FDP. And good evening to the lovely participants over here. I'm Dr. Cassiana Walter, and today I'm going to try to share my thoughts and my experiences on the topic contemporary trends in teaching English language. Now, before I can begin to share my presentation, what are we doing now? We are right now having an FDP, right? So a faculty development program. And who is the center of the faculty development program, if I may say? Yes, so it is the faculty, right? Just a minute. I'll try to share my. Yes, I'm ready. Can you see my slides?
No, ma'am, screen
No,
sharing
madam.
was not yet enabled.
Okay. I'm having a little trouble. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, I think now. Can you see my slides now?
No, madam.
No, not yet.
Just give it a minute. I think now you can
Yeah,
see it.
it's coming, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So as I said, now for today's presentation, I would like to begin with the teacher. Yes, we do call ourselves faculty and professors, but I feel teacher feels home. So for all intents and purposes, I will be reflecting as a teacher in all the slides. Okay. So yeah. Can you all look at my first screen, the first slide? Is it visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
madam.
Okay. So can you all please tell me what do you all see on the screen? Anyone, if the host can unmute anybody and they can share. What do you infer from this particular picture?
The common scenario in the Indian classroom.
Yes. Can you please elaborate, sir?
Because generally our classrooms are large in size and we have mixed ability students. Few are very interesting and few wants to make noise. So it is very common experience with in the Indian classroom, especially in the English period.
Okay, that's true. And anybody else would like to throw on any more light for this particular picture?
Abex teacher,
Mm-hmm.
girls being very studious,
Okay.
boys, a lot of noise,
Okay.
very mischievous.
Uh-huh.
The teacher burdened with work.
Okay. All right.
It
You're
seems
missing
to
out.
be a afternoon class,
Okay.
and it's a frustrated teacher
Uh-huh.
could not handle the students.
Okay.
Some bright students are working on their own, but
Okay.
she could not focus on them because
Mm-hmm.
of that naughty students.
Okay.
So especially it happens not only
Yes.
for English class, any class for that matter.
Yes. And what do you
Ma'am,
all
this
see on a
picture,
desk?
yeah, this picture exhibits the load of work for teacher, and she is feeling much exhausted and irritated. And
Oh,
on the one side, some students are studying at their own, and on the other side, many of the students are making too much commotion and chaos. So it displays the tiresome situation of a teacher for
correct.
a teacher who is having lots of work and without any management.
Yes. Okay. So
Ma'am, an overburdened teacher,
yeah.
where she has a lot of things to do. The to-do list is very realistic. It seems similar to what I do, or
Yes.
rather we all of us do, and the assignments, the pile of assignments that we need to correct, along
Yeah.
with all the syllabus that we need to complete, along with all the reports and emails and other work that we have to keep on giving updates about. So
Yeah.
and the picture actually, it's so very realistic. It seems as if only sitting there.
Okay. All right. Now, did you all notice the clock tick, tick, tick behind?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, yeah. Now I'm sure all of you all resonate to this particular picture, including I. Yes. So now this is what the common teacher scenario is. So we do have the clock ticking behind. We do have a pile of assignments to finish, a big to-do list. We have a set of students who are very talkative, who try to make commotion. And I think I put a boy also among the girls so that it is gender neutral even when it comes to sitting quietly and studying, because we even do have boys who are very quiet. Okay, so this is a perfect class scenario. Now, today, my mission is to see that I take out all these issues. I try to take out all these issues whilst I keep the student at the center of the learning process. Okay, so that's quite a mission for me. And I hope that you'll stay with me till the end of the session, as in I explain how we can achieve this. All right? Okay, so moving forward, I want you all to remember this picture every time we will be coming back to it. Okay, now can you all see the next slide? Yes? Yes, okay. All right. Now, let me start with the title itself. What do you mean by contemporary trends? Contemporary is nothing but modern, and to be more precise, today's needs in education. And how do we meet those needs is by modern, different kinds of approaches. And why do we need to move on from the traditional approach to the modern approach? Is because the generation is changing, and according to its change, then so will be our approaches. All right. Now, before I move in to explain the characteristics, I want an affirmation from all the people present here. The affirmation should be, let's unlearn to relearn. Okay? So the affirmation I will be telling on every slide, because only when we keep telling this to ourselves, let's unlearn to relearn, only then we are open-mindedly open to the new directions, new trends in teaching. Do you all agree with me? So we have to start with an open mind. Okay, so again, our affirmation for today, let's unlearn to relearn. Okay, now as you see, the learner is at the center of the picture, and we have the outcome-based education, communicative language learning, collaborative learning, technology, task-based, formative assessments. Now, looking at this, you must be thinking that today's FDP is same as anyone's. Like, there's nothing new. It's the same thing. But if you just stay with me till the end of the session, you will understand as how different kinds of approaches can be used to attain these things, and how in different circumstances you will be able to apply these approaches. Now, I understand that the participants of here are from different areas of learning, as well as their students are at different levels. So I've placed my examples in such a way that it is apt for all these scenarios. Okay, so as I keep moving forward, I will be explaining different kinds of activities, different kinds of approaches to attain these characteristics. Yes, so let's move on. The first one is the outcome-based education. Now, when we start going to a class, how do we generally start it? We started, but today I'm going to teach you, say, how to write a formal letter. Or today I am going to cover this particular lesson. But that needs to change. The student needs to know what they will learn at the end of the session. Now, this doesn't mean I just take it from a first person and put it to a third person, a second person. No, I just cannot say, you will learn how to write a formal letter. No, that's not how you give an outcome-based education for the class. That's not how you put out the outcomes. Now, what you can do is to give few phrases, few taglines, or few certain words where the student will get hooked on, right? Do you understand hooked on? Then they will be able to understand the concept, and they will be able to connect the concept to that particular phrase. Now, whenever we used to go for movies, that is when I say we, I'm talking about the millennials, all we used to do is just see which genre the movie belonged to and probably see who are the actor and actresses, and then we used to go for the movie. But today's generation, they will check out the rating of the movie, they will check out the plot, the unfolding of the plot. So you see what I'm getting at? They want the information before, and only then you can get them interested in doing something. They don't want to sit with an idle mind prepared what is going to come. So how do we attain this particular, task? Let me give you an example of Bacon's off studies. Do you all remember that? Something that we did it in our PG. So I remember that when we were learning that, the minute we learned the word, read the word of studies is like, okay, why will I need to study about someone who is like from another millennial, right? So how do I get my students to actually listen to this particular essay? Yeah, to top it all, it's an essay. So how do I get my students to listen to it? So instead of starting off saying that, come on, let's start reading, or probably just headlining the whole essay, what you can do is to start off with the hook question. Do you think Bacon can survive in the era of AI? That should be your question. Okay. So that will be on your board. Now, the student will start connecting as you teach to that particular question, because that answer has to come up till the end of the lesson, till the end of the session, right? So then you will go on to explain about the essay, about what Bacon said, and what are the 3 things important for studying, how studying too much is also not good, and how studying helps you overcome weaknesses, those kind of things. And then they will start resonating it with the present generation, because your question is based as such. And then they might understand and connect it better. Or you can throw the statement, the famous statement in the essay. Some books are to be tasted, some books are to be chewed and digested. Do you remember that statement? Yes. So then you can question, why is Bacon asking us to chew and digest? Does he want us to eat books? So these kind of humorous statements or something will keep them connected to the lesson. Okay, now the examples that I've given here is bubble economy, get out of the building, adolescence, it's part of the engineering syllabus. So you start off with, get out of the building. Why is the author asking us to get out of the building? Then who will be teaching in the class? Let's connect this phrase with the lesson. So when they actually come up to the phrase, then they will connect, okay, so this is what the author is trying to tell us. So you give them these phrases. Give them these, taglines, so they know what they are getting into and how will they connect it to the lesson, right? So this is unlearning to relearn. All right. Now moving on to communicative language teaching. Now, we all are aware that no matter how many rules and regulations we give to the students to follow, or what kind of practices we do, nothing works like communicative language while talking learning, while talking correcting, right? So this kind of communicative language is very, very important to the students. Now, especially the students who are having trouble in speaking in English, those who are having trouble with words, forming words in English, forming sentences in English, try giving them the story. And you will see how they will be able to tell the story with their imagination running wild. Like just like when we were, we used to listen to our grandparents telling stories. We never had any kind of technology, so we let our imagination run wild. And we were not bored by listening to the story again and again. This I tried with my student with the poem Leisure. So he came up with a lovely story of how he was going by bike and he loves to ride and he's not bothered. He just keeps moving forward. Then his bike stopped and, broke down. And then he looked at nature. So he made up this whole story. And this student had a lot of trouble in narrating the story. But what was the essence of it is he was trying to connect those words in English, a little of Telugu, a little of English, but he was making an attempt. Now, why is this happening? Because it is storytelling. And we all are extremely good storytellers, especially the children, especially the students. Yes. So try this art of storytelling. I gave you an example of a picture over there. Can you all guess which one is it? What is that boy trying to imagine? I'll give you a hint, it's a poem.
Ozymandias.
Yes, very good. That's a good job. Yes. So how do we teach Ozymandias? We go on with probably, how do we teach poem? We go there with the book, we read the poem, then we break it down to metaphors and imagery, those kind of ways. So instead of that, try to make a story out of it. Try to tell there was once this great king. He wanted to rule the world. He conquered. You can add your own narrations in it. And then below his statue was written unconquered or conquered too many. And then later what had remained. Then again connected to this generation. What remains? Time takes it all. Are we the same? How you were? So, this kind of imagery, this kind of connection is what the students will understand and will retain in their mind. Yes, so let's unlearn to relearn. Okay, now next we have this collaborative learning. I know we have spoken in length and in breadth about collaborative learning, about peer-to-peer learning, yes. But try this activity, what I've started in my class. It's called the inner circle and outer circle. And what kind of problem area it has fixed in my classes, I found that a few students are shy to speak to me. They have trouble coming on the days and speaking in the class, but they're okay with speaking to their peers. They're okay with conversating to their friends because they have that kind of, say, comfortable level. Now, we can start with this activity and then probably slowly encourage them to talk to the teacher itself. Now, this collaborative learning works on different level and is an amazing activity to do, that is inner circle and outer circle. First thing, it can be done in larger classes. Okay, so I understand that the class structure is as such that it is difficult for us to put the student in groups or in, round circles. That's not going to be possible on a daily basis, maybe during the labs, but not during the classes. And especially, teachers who are teaching about 80, 90 students, how can they do that? That's not going to be possible. So what you can do is at the end of the session, give each bench one topic to discuss on, that is from the lesson itself. Okay. And then you have this outer circle, that is a group of 5 or 6 students, or probably, have one section 5 or 6 and the other side 5 or 6 students. They are called the outer circle students, who are probably a little more expressive and a little more good at articulation. So they can go around listening to the inputs of each bench. Okay. And then they give them positive feedback, positive reinforcement feedback. So here we are teaching our students good leadership qualities, to be good listeners first, to be empathetic listeners, and to give feedback in such a way that is workable with the others. Like you can give the phrases that I have given away. You're on the right track, however, and then you can put your phrase. Could you please check on this part again? Those kind of positive reinforcement. So this way, you have the whole class engaged. You have them discussing on the topic. You are giving them feedback. And you know what the teacher is doing? The teacher is quietly walking around with her book, trying to assess those students who don't talk to her but talk to others. So you are trying to make some kind of formative assessments as you just quietly walk around. And as I said, this is really helpful for a larger classroom. Yes, so let's unlearn to relearn. Yes, the next one is authentic learning. Now, I feel this is the best part of the new trends or the contemporary trends of teaching. I really understand that we have time constraints, but please do not stick only to our text. Please move on for more material and more topics that the student is able to understand better, and the student is able to give their own critical thought, their own critical thinking and creative ideas. A newspaper should not be used only as a reading tool. Use a newspaper as a problem discussion technique, and most importantly, for a solution basis technique. All right? Give them topics that are relevant to them. Please don't give them topics about, I know green revolution, pollution is all very good, but then those are not the topics for this particular generation. Give them topics which are more relevant to them, the present scenario. You can take out articles from the newspaper or from any kind of online sources and have them discuss on the solutions of it. You can have them discussing on why social media validation is important. You know, when you come up with this kind of questions to them, they will discuss and they will be able to come out with different perceptions and different solutions. So we need to move. We need to unlearn ourselves from all these, topics which are outdated to the present topics, to how, how cryptocurrency is dangerous or is it safe? You know, these kind of topics, so that they are aware, they know the process and they discuss the problems. Okay. And also you can give them pictures that I have given. Give them pictures to decipher, to understand from it. Now, if you all can see this picture, what I have given over here, the great, I don't know why the extra E is come, but the great animal race. So what do you understand from this particular picture? Can anyone tell me?
Ma'am, I personally would view it as a question of inclusive education.
That's good, sir. Okay, that's good. And
Each animal has its own capacity, but they were all getting assisted with the same method.
that's excellent, sir. That was actually my idea of showing it. But you know what my students thought it was? And you all will be shocked. You know what they did with this picture? They gave each animal to different political group. Yes, so they explained this picture to me, saying that elephant belongs to one political group, the cheetah to one, the lion to one, and they even explained why. And then I was like, okay. So then I started giving them probing questions. Why do you think you gave? What could have been done? And then they even gave this trials to each student in the particular class. Vaishnavi is the elephant and Siddharth is a cheetah. And you know, they started doing that. Then I was like, okay, fine, I agree with you. And then I gave them the reason why I gave them the picture, as one of the sirs has said, is like each of them have their own talent, but they have the same kind of assessment. So then I asked them what can be done, what should have been done, what can we also do. So now giving these kind of pictures and making them think about these scenarios. So I was talking about our education system over here actually. So they came up with such great ideas. So this is authentic learning. This is lifelong learning. I know that we are bound with time, we are bound with many things, but yes, do bring up this. You can include this in essay writing. Show these kind of pictures to them. Okay, and then they will be able to see different angles of it, and then probably they'll be able to write better essays, because nowadays essays has only become description, and then probably they will restate the topic. Restating the topic is not conclusion, right? So they need to come up with solution, or at least moving towards some positive change, if not the total solution in an essay writing. So that is what I used it for, and it was tremendous. So this is my experience I want to share with you all. So let's unlearn to relearn. And then we move on to digital literacy. Okay, so I'm going to try to play an audio here. This is something last minute that I couldn't download. I hope it will be audible to you all. It is just probably just few lines. And then I will ask questions to my core ELT teachers of here on how you go about grabbing grammar from this particular, lyrics. It's quite a popular song, and I hope it's audible. So now, my friends, you can count on me now. I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count.
Ma'am, it's muted. Please unmute.
Did you all hear the lyrics, ma'am?
It started, but then it was muted suddenly. So please play it
The
again.
host muted me, it said. Anyway, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again.
I'll be there. And I know that I need it, I can know you'll be there.
Okay, since time is the constraint, I cannot play more. But let's see, my ELT teachers of here. What kind of grammar can you pick up from this particular audio?
I think we can use it for teaching verbs.
Very good, sir. Okay, that's good. We have a teacher from 11th and 12th, I guess, over here. I hope she's there with us today.
Oh, sorry, ma'am, but audio was not clear.
Not clear. Okay. So anyway, ma'am, this is a very famous song, but then when you listen to it, you can pick up verbs, as Sir said. You can pick up tenses. You can pick up collocations. We teach the whole year, and then or the whole semester, and then during the revision, I go and ask, do you all remember what is this? And then they all blanked face up there. So what you can do for revision purposes, of course, we can't play music every day in class, but for the revision purposes, play this audio, play any lyrics where you think is connected to your grammar, and then connect. You will see how students are able to, use that connection and then remember. And then maybe that will help them remember the concept better. Okay, and now coming on to non-verbal videos, we are also aware how non-verbal communication is a very, very important part of communication. Okay, so they go hand in hand, verbal and non-verbal. But nowadays we see that our students are so disconnected from one human to another human. They don't even want to pick up the call. They just want to text. That's how the scenario is. So that way we are losing on the human touch and we are not able to see the non-verbal communication. So what you can do is play videos where, there is no verbal. They have to only understand. And what you can do is ask them to summarize the video to you later. Okay, so this way what happens is they are picking up on non-verbal clues. That is the first thing. Second thing, they build on empathy because non-verbal usually involves a lot of empathy. And then the third major thing is the language, right? So they will be able to summarize, synthesize what they are thinking, and they'll be able to articulate it, hence helping their language development. So can you see this trend? I know is difficult. I know maybe it is asking too much of some teachers, but try, okay? Let's try to unlearn to relearn. All right. And then moving on to inclusive classroom, my research was in inclusiveness, and I have studied students of, who are differently abled and many other students. We are all aware that our classroom is a mixed classroom. Yes. So we have students of fast learners and slow learners and average learners, and we have to see that we cater to all these students. Now, you will observe that over the course of 2 months or so, there are few students who are a little slow in catching up. It's not that they cannot, it's just that they are a little slow. So what can we do to help those kind of students? So what you can do is make a what, why card. Okay, so what you do, you chop down all these important topics of your lesson on a piece of paper, and you go quietly and you slip it to that one particular student, and you just tell them, you write at the back of it, whatever you understand of that topic, just write it down. It's okay. And then you collect it, because these students may not be able to talk to you, but they'll be good at writing. I'm sure you have come across these kind of students. So then that helps you to assess these kind of students much better. Okay. And there will be students who are, not able to remember. They will study, they will do activities, they will do everything. But then when it comes down to putting the paper, oh, ma'am, I forgot. I don't know. I remembered it, but then I forgot. All those kind of explanations will come. So what you can do is to integrate topics, and that will, have a spiral kind of a learning for them. Now, what do I mean by integrated topics? All of us have this neural network thing going on in our mind, right? One connected to the other, and that's how we actually remember things. And that's how even students remember things. But what do they do when it comes to studying? They go on switch off mode. They don't integrate anything. So we should help them. Okay, we should help them to integrate these kind of topics. Now, the lessons that we are teaching is entrepreneurship and professional ethics. Integrate them. So if you're an entrepreneur, what business are you starting? And then again, what kind of ethics you need to follow, and what happens if you don't follow? And then, that integration of topics will help them remember and probably help them even with an example. And you will definitely see them reproducing it on your paper. Because this is the example I gave them, the difference between business and entrepreneurship. The person who sells watermelon and the person who makes juice out of watermelon. And then, that is entrepreneurship. I had a student literally draw it for me in the paper. So that much is the effect of teaching to the students. It is just we need to change our approach. That is what we need to do. So we need to unlearn to relearn. Now we come to task-based learning. And whenever I say task-based learning, we immediately jump to role play, situational dialogue, giving directions, these kind of task-based. Okay. Now this can be used for the students, especially who have so much of information, but are not able to synthesize it. They are not able to scheme it. Okay. So this kind of hexagonal card strategy can be used for these kind of students. Okay, this is something new kind of an approach where, of course, this gives out a little more work for the teacher to do. I agree, but we can also use ChatGPT. We can also use all these AI tools where we can generate topics and connected topics along with it. Okay, so then each table has a topic, and you have some connecting topics on your table. The students have to come and connect it like a web, the way you see it in the picture now, and then present it. So by doing this, they will be able to synthesize, organize their views in a way that they are able to present. Okay, so this is hexagonal card strategy. Now let's come and talk about the elephant in the room. And what's that? That is the formative assessment. So we've done all our activities, we've done all our approaches, we've done all the yins and yans, and everything has been completed. Now we are moving on to the formative assessments. How do we manage to do that? Okay, so usually when the class is done and then we ask the students, have you all understood the topic? Yes, yes, ma'am, we have understood the topic. What you understood? Then you will find 2-3 people coming and, saying certain things, okay, this is what we understood, and the others will remain mum. So you try this 3-2-1 reflection that I use. That, is about what are the 3 things that you understood, the 2 things that fairly understood, and the 1 thing that you absolutely didn't understand. And then there comes your assessment. How much the students have understood the unit and what are the topics that you need to revisit. Okay. And this again need not be asked to the students who are, good. Try to go to the backbenchers. Yes, we need to go to the noisy students and ask them. All right. And then see how much they have understood and what should be, retouched again. And then last we come to the grading systems. Can anyone tell me what happens when we correct the papers and give them to see the papers? What do they generally do?
They immediately
check
check the
the
scores, just the marks.
They check the marks, yes. And
they check the mark, they may compare.
Yeah, they're very good at comparing. That's true.
Ma'am, they also observe their mistakes.
They observe their mistakes. You have very good students, ma'am. Okay. And
That is very rare.
yeah, that's
nowadays.
very rare. That's why I said you have very good students.
rare.
Yeah.
Ma'am, ma'am, it's like a comparative analysis that they do.
That they do. Yes.
Do, but they again come to us for asking for marks, ma'am, to add something. Add on.
They don't ask like that. They ask, why you didn't give me marks over here?
Yes,
You should have given me 4
Very
marks
exactly,
instead of
exactly.
3. So they ask for justification, right?
Everything comes under
So
that comparing.
comparing. Okay, yeah. That once they compare with the other students, here they come outragedly and they ask us. Okay, so now what happens is, first thing is, it takes us forever to go do the correction and give it to them, and then it's noisy. And then, you remember the first picture, the first slide I showed you, the clock is ticking behind. So we have very less time to see that we collect all the papers properly back, put them in order, and then rush for the next class. Now, how can we give them a clear understanding of what went wrong and why they got the marks, whatever they got and whatever they deserved? Okay, and this again can be used in a very large classroom. So what you do is, when you're correcting, try to give a small symbol to it. It's already a predetermined symbol, a table, which is well understood by your students and you. So you're probably, using the pencil, put a little triangle mark. What do you mean by that? No examples were given. Or if you put a small straight line over there, there is absolutely no relevance between your answer and the question given to you. Star, we all know, of course, if they do well, then it's a star. When you put a circle, that means the key point itself is missing. They gave you the whole summary, because students are very good at writing summary, but the answer is not, to the question, that is not answered. So these kind of grading system will help them also be aware of how they can do better in their answers and what is expected out of them, and also saves time for the teacher. Yes. So let's unlearn to relearn. And yeah, so I'm come at the end of my presentation, and I hope I'm in time. And I hope that we move out from all the, I wouldn't say exactly move out, but let's look at it positively, to adapt to the new trends. Let's unlearn to relearn, and so that we can grow in life. Grow and even make our students grow along with us. I have one video to share, ma'am, if the host permits. Or shall we open for questions? The host permits.
Yes, ma'am, you can play it. You can play it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Can you all see the video?
Yeah, it's.
Can I play it? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what have you all understood from that particular video?
I could read it as an example of empathy skills.
Okay. You think the students will be able to summarize what they've seen in the video and put them in language more clearly?
Not exactly, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
They can try with some broken sentence with their own language, with influence of the mother tongue. Somehow, if we motivate, some of them can do it.
Yes. So what I'm getting at over here is we are teaching a generation who do not respond to commands. We are teaching a generation who have all the information but do not want to access. So what we can do is to meet them halfway. We can give them the information and then just nudge them in the right direction. So that is what the role the teacher needs to play now. Give them the information and keep nudging them in the right direction. Meet them halfway, and slowly, eventually, they will get there. So this was my experiences and my thoughts on the contemporary trends of teaching English. And ma'am, I'm open to questions now.
Yeah, I request the participants to unmute themselves and use the remaining time for a question answer hour as the resource person is open for questions now. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm a teacher of English, teaches class 11th and 12th, and I'm quite interested in ELT. So I always go for ELT things, and I would like to know what specialization of ELT activities do we conduct, or should we conduct in the classroom along with the teaching of text and grammar.
Okay, ma'am. If you're interested in studying ELT, ma'am, my suggestion to you will be is to also look into the theories corresponding to ELT, the previous works, and then probably do a comparative study, and then also implement it into your classroom. Now, when you talk about grammar, grammar doesn't stand alone. It is always integrated with language, or if I could say with text. Teach grammar through text, and that will be, somewhere more connected to your students rather than giving them, a set of rules, practicing exercises. Try to connect it to the text, to the lesson, and then that they will be able to, understand it much better. So that way you can practice your ELT much better.
Thank you so much, ma'am. One more thing I would like to ask you, especially ma'am, generally we teach text, then we go for grammar according to the syllabus. But as I wish to be an ELT expert in classroom teaching, so I just want to know what type of course should I pursue and what type of ELT centered teaching should I conduct in my classroom.
What kind of ELT teaching you should conduct in your classroom? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, the learner should be the center, ma'am. Okay. So see what the learner requires first. Where is it that they are falling short of? Is it the vocabulary, are they not able to do their pronunciation? Is it the diction? Is it, the whole syntax? What is it that they are not able to do it? And then take it from there. Keep it learner-centric, then only will you find, some kind of development in the students. You can probably, try something, as I keep telling, with the more in generation, try with the, proverbs. They love that. And then try to put them in what kind of tenses they are. And then again, probably try with the, different kinds of phrasal verbs and idioms. They love idioms and how it is corresponded. And then break it down into parts. So that way, the students are more interactive. Relate them to pictures, and then they will, you can channelize all that to ELT.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I teach undergraduate students. Like what I notice, ma'am, like I go to a set of students who are very enthusiastic and energetic. They are in the final years. Like they are very good in interacting, ma'am, and whatever we give, they make it a point, they speak. And the thing is that when one person speaks, all others are very disturbed. They are not very good listeners. They don't want to listen, though when there is their turn they do it very well and in a very good way, but then they do not want to listen. And one more thing which I noticed is they are not at all keen on writing part, ma'am. Even if we say just summarize it and write it short one also, like they are like, ma'am, we'll do it in exams. So they are not at all keen on writing part, ma'am, and that is where I guess they are losing the marks also, because they don't want to write. They are very interactive, they are good at speaking, but they do not want to write. And neither they want to listen to others. So my question is, how do we make them a good listeners? But as far as I have learned, they say that we can be a good orator only when we could be a good listener. We could be a good speaker only when we are good listener. And I tell them number of times, but at least when we give lecture they are quiet, but then interactive sessions they are not very keen on listening to others. How do we improve that, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am. I hear you out because I face the same problem. Ma'am, have you heard of this approach called as feedback reports?
Yes, ma'am.
Feedback reporters. Feedback
Okay,
reporters.
reporters.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what you do is when
Okay.
one team is presenting or they are, speaking to you, you have feedback reporters from all the other teams, one person each team. And the marks will be given on the feedback reporters grading. Okay. So now this goes around for all the tables. So
Okay.
everybody will keep quiet because each one's mark is dependent on the other now. So only when they are quiet, when the whole class is quiet, will the reporters be able to collect the feedback. Yes. And that feedback will be reported to you. Now, when there is noise around, the reporters will not be able to do their job. So this happened with this table. What about the other table? The other table will also not get marks. Now, this way, everybody's marks is affected. And ma'am, the hard truth with students is everything linked to marks, they'll do it quietly. We know that, right? So we have to, set on certain grades for them. So this is how we grade you, a day-to-day evaluation. So, you lose your marks. So that is how you have to play the game. That is how it should be done. That's what I
I'll
do
definitely.
best.
Sure. Thank you
Good
so
evening,
much.
ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Ma'am, I teach UG students, ma'am.
Okay.
So I have observed that English students have 5 subjects, 3 group subjects and 2 languages. Hindi, English, Telugu, Hindi and English. Most of the students mainly focus on their group subjects, ma'am. They don't want to focus on languages. This happens. How can we overcome this, ma'am?
Okay, sir. I totally understand what you're saying because we do have integrated colleges over here. They focus more on the MPC and very less, I mean, that's the hard truth. I'm going to put it out there that they don't focus on English and they probably do it just, I think, a month before the exam is what my students
Yes,
have
ma'am.
told me. Yeah, my students told me that. So what you could do, sir, if you're getting a class with them, then it is in your hands how you change their perception. First thing, sir, please don't make it like the remaining classes because they've already drained with their other group subjects. So try not to make it written, at least, in the first 1 month at least. Make it interactive only with them so that they know, okay, this session is going to be different. The session is not going to be like the other group subjects. And as I said throughout my presentation, have different approaches in teaching them. Can you mention a few lessons, the names that you teach them, sir? Maybe it'll refresh my memory. What are the subjects? What are the lesson names that you teach them?
We have prose, poetry, grammar topics, ma'am.
Okay, so I've covered poems. I've covered even prose. I've covered essays, how to teach. I've covered poems and essays also, right? So you have to have this different approach of teaching them because
Okay.
they are already in the fixed notion of the question answer, the rote learning. You will have to change your approach and then they will also change. So you will have to unlearn to make them relearn everything.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm teaching for undergraduate students, which are BTech students. The thing is, like, when we were teaching, like, whenever we give some inputs and all, at that, listen to it properly and they'll do everything. But when it comes to presentation, they used to hesitate and they are not able to speak well. So how could we motivate them to speak, ma'am? I need some suggestions from you.
I get what you're saying, but ma'am, the problem lies with us teachers. I'll tell you where we are going wrong. We are spoon feeding them the whole lesson, and then we give them a topic at the end of the lesson and we ask them to present. We make them stand on the dais. Now that, immediately will not happen. So what we need to do is from starting itself, as I said, from the time you teach the lesson, from the time you begin, you need to give those kind of words on the board, okay? And you need to ask them questions. You need to, from the very beginning, start making them think, start making them analyze, and start asking them in smaller groups. What do you think about it? And then maybe at the end of the lesson, they will be able to come out and, not 100% give the presentation, but will be able to do it some extent.
Okay. Done, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am,
evening,
this is
ma'am.
Fauziya.
Yes, ma'am.
I do take care of graduating student and post-graduating student now.
Okay.
I teach English. So my question is, how important is assessment in contemporary English language teaching, ma'am? Because our ultimate goal is whenever we teach English, we nowadays in contemporary world, we talk about like communicative approach is very much mandatory to bridge the gap between academia and industry. So how would it be, ma'am, if we change the assessment process? Whatever contemporary process is there, do you think by that particular process, are we going to meet the whatever requirements are there for the career purpose for the students?
Okay, ma'am. Do you all follow the FASA style of grading?
Like at a university where we work like in Uspania, we do follow that internal assessment, right? It's again a written part.
Oh.
But my question is, when we are talking about importance of communicative approach is very, very important. Ultimately, the communication should be there with the student. The learning part is communication when you take the degree, and so only we are giving importance. 75% of the time we are giving importance for the assessments like internal assessment, and the finally they need to write the exam for 80 marks, not for the practical purpose. How could it be if we change the pattern?
Ma'am, if I may ask, do you all have labs? I think you all have labs, no?
For graduating students, only 20 marks paper is internal paper. I mean that nothing.
You all don't have a language lab?
Earlier it used to be, now it isn't.
Oh, a language lab is important because that is where we have a rubrics of grading them on different parts of speaking, listening, and presenting. So we have those kind of rubrics that we grade them in the language lab. Also, in the theory part, we have a presentation and project, 5 marks. Do you all have that, ma'am?
No, ma'am. For graduating students, only we have 20 marks paper internal and 80 marks paper for final paper. They need to go and they need to write external paper it is. No practicals, nothing at all. Earlier it used to be CE, computer-based test.
Okay, ma'am. So I think this is something the education department need to take concern of because, yeah, as you said, it should be given importance. So we have 5 marks for project and 5 marks for presentation, ma'am. So that is where we ask them to present the topics, and the project is where I do my weekly assessment, my communicative weekly assessment. And then the students are graded, are assessed. And that's why I took it as a part of the presentation. I said you have to walk around and assess because this is what we do. We assess. And when it comes to language, ma'am, any kind of teaching requires assessment because only then we know where are the drawbacks and where the students need to improve. So without assessments, there cannot be improvement in anything. But yeah, the change of the assessment, yeah, I agree with you.
Ma'am, we shall take one last question from the chat box.
Okay,
one question is repeated by Rajkumar, for which you have already given the reply. So let us take one question, which is, I hope, the last question for today's session from the chat box. How can we integrate in an hour? To what extent AI tools to be integrated in a theory class? How can we implement it based on learning in a single hour is the question by Lakshmikant, Mr. Lakshmikant, ma'am.
How can we implement
AI tools, integrating AI tools
in a single hour?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir. I know it is very challenging to integrate it, but you don't have to integrate it in every class. That is the takeaway that we need to do right now. AI is here to help us and to help the students, help being the word which is underlined, right? So we don't have to use AI in every single class. We can use it probably at the end of the session to assess the students, or we can use it maybe after a unit, instead of them using the exercises behind the book, then maybe you can make a Kahoot quiz or something like that. Then the, exercises can be done that way also. It doesn't need to be only by the book. So here you can use AI, but it is not a hard and fast rule that you should use it in every class, because I resonate with you with this. It's not at all practical to use all the tools, to teach them, to take the attendance, to see that the class is quiet. All this cannot happen in 1 hour's time. So probably we use it, say, at the end of each unit, about 15 minutes. So that should be enough. And that all is required.
Though I said the last question, there is one more, ma'am. Suggest an app or website to improve spoken English skills.
Okay. Ma'am, I don't, when it comes to speaking any language, okay, I would say a human to human is far more fetched than app. Okay, let me give you my own example. When I was learning Telugu, that was with the help of my maid because I had to communicate with her. And then she was saying, Ostaled madam, the water is not coming. And when I reached college, they used to say, students ravatle. Now I was confused, which is correct, Ostaledu or ravatledu. So it is different in different scenarios. And then when we speak is only when we come to know of the problems we have, the actual problems we have. And when we communicate with each other is only when we learn best. Yes, there are a certain apps which are there now, maybe Duolingo and all those apps are there. But yeah, you can use them. But when it comes to practicing it, learn it from it. But then when it comes to practicing, please practice in human to human conversation. That is my advice to all my students also.
So your mother tongue is not Telugu, ma'am?
No, it's not.
What's your mother tongue?
It's English. I'm an Anglo-Indian. Have I answered all the questions, ma'am?
Yeah, probably no more questions. Repeated questions are there for which you have given a crystal clear answer, as it's already stated there by some. So let me take the opportunity to propose a word of thanks for the resource person of today, Cassiana Walter, who has taken us on a beautiful journey with anime, with some music, with some pictures and everything that is included in a nutshell to give us a crystal clear picture of how to unlearn in order to relearn again and how we should concentrate on outcome-based education, making the learners understand the significance of learning, which is very important. As teachers, we know the significance of learning. We do keep it every day in order to learn so many new things that we are learning. So a part of it to be inculcated in the student's mind, how to do it with different approaches that you have mentioned is a wonderful session, which is interactive, informative, engaging, and whatnot. I mean, like it has given all that which the participants want.
I hope I made it on time because I was constantly checking I shouldn't cross my time. Thank you, ma'am.
That's true. So thank you so much, ma'am. At the same time, I also propose my sincere thanks to all the participants from different colleges, different colleges, different organizations across the country, probably. Many thanks to the management of VJIT for providing us this opportunity to conduct an online FDP program in enhancing our skills in so many ways. Thanks to the HOD, H&S department, Dr. Lakshmi Narayan. Thanks to English HOD, Dr. Priya ma'am, my all department colleagues, and once again, I'm highly thankful to the participants as well as to the today's resource person. Thank you so much, everyone, and wish you all the same learning experience in the coming 2 days sessions too. Thank you, ma'am. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Attendance link is posted in chat box, both in Zoom chat as well as Facebook, YouTube live chat box. Whoever want to fill, you can fill. Attendance and feedback link will not be shared in a WhatsApp group. YouTube live will end in next 1 minute. And so the Zoom meeting link also end in next 1 minute. Please fill the form.
Was my sincere thanks to all.
answered all the questions, ma'am. Yeah, I hope I made it on time. Thank you so much. My sincere thanks to all.
Priya madam, so shall I end the meeting at the both the sessions, YouTube as well as Zoom?
Just wait for 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, okay, madam.
Once it is closed, they can't see the feedback link.
Good evening, sir. Priya ma'am, good evening. Ma'am, this is Lakshmi.
We are not able to open the Google form, ma'am. Please.
Ma'am,